In this second video for punching and drifting, we're going to look at a basic set of tools, a slot punch and a drift. I base my measurements for the slot punch off the drift, so I need to make the drift first. A drift has three sections: the main body, which is upset first, the taper to the struck end, and then the taper to the working end. The struck end taper allows the tool to fall through the bar once the end gets close to the parent stock that you're drifting. Making the taper to the struck end enables you to reach around the struck end and grasp the main body with your tongs, not something you might be able to do if you make the taper to the working end first. The working end should reflect the size and shape of the hole you intend to resize and reshape, in this case a slot punch, and it needs to have the corners heavily removed. Even though it's tapered, sometimes that corner to corner measurement can exceed the main body of the drift. The drift in this case is mild steel and it's pretty much consumable, so I have a few of these standing by every time I have a punch and drift project. My slot punch, like most of my hand tools, starts off with a typical struck end. I'm using a 6-inch length of 3/4 round 4140, and I'm going to taper the struck end of the tool to an octagon shape and then crown it with a rasp. Find flat on your anvil, lift it up slightly. 2 blows in the same place, one just behind it, is going to give you a taper to the struck end. Forge a lazy square with round corners. Then start to forge those corners in, again 1, 2 in the same place, one just behind it, and you should end up with an octagon. Next I create some indexing just in front of the tapered end, and I use the rounding hammer over the bick, about 6 blows per side. Once you've got the indexing in place, move to the face of the anvil and extend that indexing further down the bar. You can see I'm going to have to shift my tongs in a minute. Once you've got the taper in place, straighten out any nicks and bangs, and then turn the tool around end for end, and it's time to work on the working end. We want a 3/4 wide by a strong 16 thick working end, and I've got a 3/4 round bar, so the first thing I need to do is get rid of some of the excess material in line with the indexing. Then I turn it 90 degrees and start to put on my performance end. I'm staying on the bick as I draw this down, cow poop theory. Once I've got my rough work done on the bick, I'm going to go to the face and dress everything up. Not the last thing I do, but right before the last thing I do is Sham Fer the Corners. There's no room for a sharp corner on this tool because you're going to stretch this hole, and any sharp corner is going to make a stress riser within the hole. So knock the corners off as the next but one thing you do, and then lastly just put your hammer down and create a nice smooth surface. Friction is the enemy. Reheat the tool, allow it to normalize, and then file a dead flat end and heat treat, and I'll let you heat treat as per the guidance you may find online or within your own books. The rounding hammer that I use is a Jonathan Lambert product from lambertblacksmithing.com. Here is details.